Hey guys, welcome back and Happy New Year. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about my thoughts on the very recent Louis Vuitton price increases that just happened yesterday. I did have every intention of doing a different New Year type video to kick off this year with like my wish list and my curation goals, which is still coming very soon by the way. But when I saw the Louis Vuitton price increases come up yesterday and there were some hefty increases on some of their very popular monogram items, I just thought, you know what, I really need to talk to you guys and give you my 2 cents on the situation. So I'm going to be going over about 8 different items. For each item, I'm going to talk about how much increase they saw and then whether or not I think the item is still worth buying. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to pick 3 items that I'll be completely happy to pay the current hefty price for if I was starting over my collection today. So first up, let's talk about the key pouch. It is one of their most affordable pieces and most popular pieces, and mind you, most versatile and useful pieces from their collection. This one saw a 20% price increase here in Australia. By the way, I'm gonna be giving you Australian prices, but I did my research and across the board worldwide, most price increases were quite similar in terms of the percentage of price increase. So although I'm talking Australian dollars, it should be applicable to your currency as well. Anyway, so this key pouch went from $300 to 360 Australian dollars. So $60 price increase, which is about 20%. Now, I use this item every single day. I've had this for about 5 years and I believe I paid around the 200 Australian dollar mark about 5 years ago. This will be one of those items I still think is really worth investing in if you are thinking about getting a piece, if you can get your hands on one, because these are quite rare to find as well. The reason why I think it is still worth it is because still at 360 Australian dollars, it is a fantastic piece for the price when you're talking designer prices, because this little guy is so versatile. For $360, you can't even get a designer card holder that only holds cards from most designer brands actually. So I still think this is worth it. The other point I wanted to raise is don't get so caught up in the percentage. So when you're looking at the percentage increase for this specific item, it is really crazy. It saw a 20% increase. But think about it this way. The same $60 went up on your Neverfull. So the Neverfull went from 2,180 Australian dollars to now $2,240. So this is in the MM size. So the Neverfull saw a $60 price increase, which is only a 2.8% increase. But the same $60 went up on the key pouch, which is around 20%. So most people make the mistake of looking at the percentage as the main thing. But guys, it is the same $60 that you have to work for. So I know the percentage is still relevant, but when you're talking pieces in terms of whether it is worth it for you or not, sometimes it helps to think just as dollar terms. This is controversial, I know. But in my opinion, the $60 extra that I have to make to buy now a key pouch or the Neverfull is the same $60 that I have to work hard for. So if you think that you're really gonna get a lot of use out of the specific item that you're looking at, don't be too carried away looking at the crazy percentages. Because at the end of the day, I think I personally be happy to pay extra $60 for a key pouch. And I also wanted to quickly remind you, you've got one more day to enter my giveaway, which the price is in here. So I'm giving away a brand new Louis Vuitton key pouch exactly like this in monogram that I purchased brand new from the store here in Sydney. The giveaway closes tomorrow. It is open worldwide. Go over to my previous video if you didn't get a chance to enter already. So just wanted to do a really quick reminder for that. Now let's move on to the next item, which is the mini pochette. So the mini pochette saw a pretty hefty price increase too. It was 485 Australian dollars and now it retails for 595 Australian dollars. So this one saw 22.7% price increase. Only you can make the decision whether something is worth it or not at the current prices. But there's another point that I wanted to address. If it is an item that you really had your heart set on, today is still the cheapest you can get the item for. So in 5 years time, time, if you bought this mini pochette for $485 or $595, you'll be glad that you got a lot of use out of it. So in 5 years time, I am sure Louis Vuitton is going to continue to have the price increases every single year. So at that point, you're gonna look back and go, you know, I'm so glad I bought that whenever I did, because I got to use it for 5 years, enjoy it, and now if I wanted to buy it in 5 years time, you're paying a bit more. So I think if the price is something still affordable to you, I'd say still go for it and just purchase the item and use it and enjoy it and get that cost per wear down. Now let's talk about the next painful item, which is the Pochette Accessoire. This is actually my mom's and I borrowed it from her for this video because this one worldwide saw about 25% price increase. Yes, so in Australia, it went from $950 and now to 1,190 Australian dollars, which is a $240 increase. I remember when my mum purchased this, it was 580 Australian dollars. And even then, mum and I were like, oh, it's such a small thing. Should we actually be buying it for like $580? And this was about 4 years ago as well. So the price of this doubled in the space of 4 years or so. So for the Pochette Accessoire, I think you can look at it two different ways. If you are looking to purchase this as a mini handbag, I'd still say it is really worth it because no other handbag from Louis Vuitton in any canvas you can really get for around the 1,000 Australian dollar mark anymore. Even the other mini bags are at least 1,500-1,600 Australian dollars. So, you know, for a designer bag that is going to last you years because it is a very classic design, I think just over $1,000 is still not a bad price point if you don't keep thinking about the old prices. I don't think it's healthy to keep thinking about the old prices because it's in the past anyway. So I always like to look forward, not backwards, because if you can see yourself wearing it a lot in the years to come, I still think that it is not a bad price at all. It just is a bad price if you compare it to the old prices. But this is technically a pouch. So if you're getting this to use it as a pouch inside other bags, I'm not too sure that it is really worth it, because if it's going to live inside other bags, there are other pouch alternatives that will be a lot more cost effective that will still be in the monogram canvas. So depending on how you're intending to use this Pochette Accessoire is going to be how you're going to decide whether the new price is really worth it or not for your intended usage. Now let's talk about the toiletry pouches. These three saw quite a large price jump as well. So the size 15 went from 555 Australian dollars to $650 now, which is a $95 price increase, which is about 17% increase. And then the next size up, which is the Toiletry 19, went from $620 now to $720, which is about 16%. And the largest size, which is the Toiletry 26, went from $690 to $770, which is $80 price increase, which equates to around 11.6%. If I didn't have any of these and they were on my wish list, I'm probably gonna pick one size that I think will be the most suitable for my lifestyle and for the things that I want to carry around, and probably just purchase the one size rather than, you know, buy all three sizes, because with the huge price increase, if I was starting over, I don't think I'll be able to pull the trigger on all three of them. So if one of these is still on your wish list, I think maybe pick one size that you'll get the most use out of. And in the next section, I'm gonna talk about which one I think is the most useful one in my opinion. Now, in terms of canvas bags, I'm just gonna talk about two different bags that saw larger price increases that are quite popular. So the first one is the multi-pochette that was just so popular in the last year or so. That one went from 2,790 Australian dollars to 3,150. So a $360 price increase, which $360 can buy you a whole designer SLG, and that is a 12.9% increase. This is what I mean. Just because the percentage is 12.9% as opposed to like 25% for something else, when you look at the actual dollar amount, that's $360. I never was a huge fan of that multi-pochette design because for me it's just a little bit too busy. It doesn't look very classic to me and it's not really particularly my style. But if that bag suits your style, of course it is a really cool bag. But all I can say is that I think people are still going to be buying that bag because that bag is just so popular and hard to get that they were selling for $3,200, $3,300 easy in the resale market. So if people were happy to pay that sort of price from a reseller, why wouldn't they be happy to pay that amount of money from the store itself? So yeah, I think people are still going to be, you know, really buying those. And then the other thing is the Pochette Matisse in the monogram. So that one went from $2,950 to $3,150, which is a $200 price increase and 6.8% increase. I once had that bag. It is a pretty functional bag, but a canvas bag that is now over $3,000, I personally wouldn't think it is really worth it anymore. At over 3,000 Australian dollars, I would actually prefer to invest in a designer leather bag instead of a canvas bag. And if I may make a recommendation, I would much rather buy something like this. This is the Saint Laurent Lulu bag in the size small. It is a very comparable size to the Pochette Matisse. The reason why I think you should consider alternatives is because, for example, even this one, it is a full leather bag and it retails for 2,800 Australian dollars. And for me, something like this is a lot more worth my money because it is still very classic, very well made, mind you. The quality of Saint Laurent bag is really quite amazing. It doesn't have those glazing issues and so many quality issues that Pochette Matisse had in the past. So I personally wouldn't be spending that sort of money on a Pochette Matisse, but nevertheless, I'm sure a lot of people are still interested in buying that one and it is going to stay really strong in popularity. Now, if I was just starting my collecting journey and I didn't have any Louis Vuitton SLGs or items in my collection, the following 3 items I would absolutely still buy at the current prices because I think they are still worth it just on cost per wear and versatility and usage and durability and everything. So the first item you may have already guessed from the way I raved on about it. Of course, the key pouch, because it is just so versatile, functional. I get so much use out of it. I love it so much that I even purchased one for you guys. The second item that I would happily pay the current price for is the mini pochette. Like I said, I used it every single day for the past 5 years that I owned my Damier Ebene one for, and it still looks absolutely perfect. And compared to something like the Toiletry Pouch 15, it is a very similar size, but it takes up less room in your bag because of the way it's stitched, but it can still fit slightly more than the seemingly larger Toiletry 15. So although it is a very small looking item, it can pack a punch. It is so rounded on the corners so it doesn't poke the interior of the bag in any way. So absolutely still recommend 100% paying the 595 Australian dollars for the mini pochette. And then finally, I'll still be very happy to pay the money for the Toiletry Pouch 19. So out of the 3 toiletry pouches, I find myself reaching for the 19 size the most because the Toiletry 26 is a little bit too large, but it is not large enough to fit sort of full-size shampoos and things like that if I was traveling. So it's a bit of an awkward in-between size where it's really big and bulky, but it's not big enough to fit all my full-size things. So then if I am going compact and carrying travel size toiletries and things, this little guy, Toiletry 19, is just perfect for me. The other reason I love the size 19 is that you can even use it as a little clutch bag. I know a lot of people use the Toiletry 26 for a clutch bag, but for my liking, I think it's a little bit too big. It looks a little bit too boxy and bulky and too squarish to me. Whereas the Toiletry 19 is actually quite a similar size, I would say, to the Pochette Accessoires, which a lot of people actually use as a little handbag. And you guys probably seen you can actually use bag organizers in the toiletry pouches with the little D-rings on the sides, and you can attach a chain and actually turn the toiletry pouches into crossbody or shoulder bags. So that is the other reason I think the Toiletry 19 is definitely a winner even over the Pochette Accessoires, because you can actually turn the 19 toiletry into a small bag with a strap, and the price point is still a lot better in comparison comparison to the Pochette Accessoire. And for those of you who might be like me and you've been collecting for a few years and you've got a lot of these items already, my recommendation to you guys and also for myself is that we have enough. At these hefty prices, we should probably be very cautious on adding anything else to our collections. I think we should just enjoy what we've got. Don't really sell them because to repurchase them will be very, very painful to do, because if you end up having seller's remorse, then you're gonna have to repurchase the same item for a much higher price in the future, because we all know that the prices are only going up. So that is my advice to you and I, who might be well along our collection journey and we already have a little bit of an established collection. Let's hold on to our dear items and be very, very cautious on buying anything else because we have enough. So I'm done talking here. I'd love to know all of your thoughts on this price increase. So do share your thoughts in the comments below as well. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. As always, thank you so much for watching and spending some of your precious time with me today. And I can't wait to see you very soon in my next video. Bye guys.